then maybe are they...
Bro, have you go down to the road, wherever they're working on, there's 15 people standing, looking, supervising the one guy that's digging. Those 15 people, you need one supervisor, and the other 14 can be doing something. Right? It's such a useless productive market here. It's not even funny anymore.
Yeah, it could be right, but then...
Increased?
Okay, but how do you fix that? All of a sudden, you get 10 of you guys, like exact same skill level. Be like, okay, now there's actually competition for 10 years. You know what? Maybe I need to give it $200,000, and then you're gonna be like, everyone's gonna fight and be like, give me 150, I'll do the job. All of a sudden, the market comes down again.
It doesn't.
And that's supply and demand.
I think...
Wait, this is...
Hello there. We are the pod for leveling up in your careers, relationships, parenthood, and conversation today around tradespeople get paid too much. Have you guys seen these videos where the get ahead guys have interviewed a couple of people on the street and essentially find out their salaries? A couple of tradespeople earning north of 200k. Obviously they're putting in the hard yards, but what do you guys think? Actually, before we get there, guys, big alert, big update, subscriber update, 600 plus subscribers on YouTube, which is...
Wow, that's impressive.
Pretty good.
Well done.
Not bad.
I like Hubert's clap there. That should get a few more.
Hope you guys enjoying the show.
Yeah, thanks for subscribing, guys. If you're listening, send us some comments, send us some love, because today's topic is spicy and it's around the trades. And it's not us white collar people sitting here talking about the trades and if they get too much, but I think it's a valid conversation because there's a whole heap of stuff that we need to unpack here. So let's kick it off. Do tradespeople get paid too much?
Yes.
Hubert?
I'd say yes, but it's all market forces.
Do yes or no, bro?
Yes. They're getting paid too much, yes.
Okay, now carry on. Now just to make sure I can agree.
Right now, I mean, look, I think we talked about it in the week. I do agree they're getting paid too much, but that's what the market forces determine they should be paid.
What do you mean by market forces, bro?
It's all just standard supply and demand. No, just a standard, economic standard supply and demand. You have too much demand for a certain trade. There's not enough supply out there. Guess what? Price goes up.
Okay, so let's
unpack it.
Yeah.
I think is what you were going to say. Are we talking here specifically people that work for companies in the trades, or are we talking about people that own their own businesses in the trades?
I think it's both.
Okay.
So the ones who work for a big company, generally in my view, aren't the ones that are raking it in massively.
I think so as well. They're usually governed by things like EBAs and stuff like that, and if they do get paid a lot. So in where I work, without giving too much away, it's all public information.
Looking at your LinkedIn. Add Kevin.
All of the tradespeople are governed by the EBA, and if they earn well, they're working overtime hours. And people do have the option to do that. They work overtime to get jobs done, and it's in the company's best interest that they actually do overtime and get projects done quicker. But they're not the ones that are, I think, spoken about in this video. People that are earning north of 200k are usually those people that have their own businesses and subcontract to larger organizations. So let's talk about that and if they earn too much, because they're obviously business owners. They put up the risk, they put up the capital, put their whole life on the line essentially, and off the back of a trade they have studied but then worked 10-15 years in to then start up their own gig. Tell me your thoughts on that, Ash.
Look, charging a premium is okay. I just think charging more than a doctor is a bit ridiculous, right? So it's sort of a balance, right? Like if the going rate for labour is, let's say, $30 an hour, and you come and you start your own business and you're paying the insurances and your own super, all that sort of stuff, you can double it, which will cover more than your margin plus bit some.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair, right? 60, around that 50, 60 mark, that'd be good, right? But what I'm getting is like, $250 charge out rate, so I'm getting every 15 minutes, if the tradies here, there's another charge for $100. I'd like 15 minutes intervals for someone to pull out a screw. Like, calm down, guys, right? Like, just give me a rate, right? So I think some of that stuff, it's getting a bit out of hand, right? So then we don't repair I'd be reluctant to fix something up because of the cost of physically fixing stuff up, right? So once again, having travelled overseas, you go to Cuba, they fix everything up because it's more expensive to buy something brand new than it is to fix something, right? So there's a big shift in the market. That's why we chuck everything out now, right? Whenever the last time your fridge broke, it wasn't like I'll go get the fridge mechanic, whatever they're called. It was like just go to a retailer and buy a new fridge. Because if I called up Samsung at the time, I'm like, how much to come out because whatever, it's not working. Once again, for us to come and diagnose a problem, it's like $300. To diagnose a problem, you don't even fix the damn thing. Like, it's like, geez, get out of here, mate.
That's the danger with Western consumerism, right? And I think we were talking about this in the chat as well. I think I'll put my hand up here because I'm the worst at this. At least you guys have been handy. I'm terrible at stuff around the house in terms of fixing things or DIY things. And so men like me, much weaker, apart from days before where they fix everything, I'm just off the view now. I'll just get something new. I've had to force myself actually last year because once I got a plumber 2 years ago, I got him to come and change the tap and I watched him do it. I'm like, seriously, I'm paying you $200 to do this? And so the next time I did it, I just did it myself. And I think we've kind of lost that in this generation of just, if something's wrong, just spend an hour, figure out how to do it. We obviously information overload on YouTube and fix it yourself. Whereas because of that, we've kind of gotten ourselves into this lazy society where we're paying a premium now for tradespeople to do basic things. And because they're caught up in basic things, everything else becomes more and more expensive in their economy.
So, if it's a basic task, do you first go, let me check my apps and see what the price is, or do you come back and be like, I can go to Bunnings, figure it out? Right?
As in, I'll try and figure it out myself. YouTube.
That's right, you go to YouTube, just go, how to fix this. And then I'm going to show you a pretty simple way of doing it. Do it yourself and finish the story.
Yeah, unless it's like a sewer line or something. I generally give stuff a crack. I'll be like, it doesn't seem that hard. It's just, turn the water off. Not discounting plumbers, right? They run an important thing in the economy. But if I'm changing like a washer in a tap, I'll be like, it's not that hard. So go do it myself, figure it out, put it all back together, turn it back on, turn the water on. If you see things that are leaking, you're like, screw that up, need to call a plumber, right? So,
but you're talking specifically, so you did all this work in your place, like very capital intensive work. And that was expensive because of the trades.
Yeah, absolutely. So but that's just like, you're talking man hours of digging like a trench. But, finally seeing, the PVC pipes go in. No, but they're spending a whole day trying to dig up 20 odd meters of pipe, right? So
well, I think part of why that's driven is this undersupply of people in the trades and oversupply in other areas. So we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, and I think Ashley got kind of offended that I said accountants are at the bottom of the chain because there's so many of us. But I maybe not the bottom of the chain, but I actually think people that do your business degrees and do accounting and stuff, there's so many on the market, particularly because back in the day, I don't know if it's still the case, but that used to be one of the categories of being a skilled worker to immigrate into this great country.
Still is.
It still is?
Still is, yeah. One of the websites still is.
Okay.
But it's still got the same weight as it used to? Because I heard it.
But it's still a thing on the website.
Yeah.
They don't come and go, if you're a plumber, come into my country. They come back and go, are you an accountant?
Yeah.
So, it's promoted.
Yeah, because of that, you're seeing people, like, have someone on my team that was a financial controller in another country. He's now in our team as an accountant. I think you had similar examples as well, Hubert, because that's the reality of the market, right? Whereas you see the trades, there's not many of them, so they have this ability to charge a premium because there's not many of them.
Look, I'll go back down to the whole. I don't necessarily agree with supply and demand. I'd like to go head to head with both of you on this, but look, this event. I think accounting should be compulsory for these business owners, right? I think some of the reason why they're charging so much is because they're shit with money, right? That's just my personal take on it, right? You start your business, you go buy a $150,000 car, you go buy the most expensive tools. It's none of these days of trying to figure out what you can do. It's about having the most, right? And in that, once you buy all this stuff, now you got to figure out how to, on charge this to the next person, right? So, 79 Land Cruiser, got to do it up, put the, roof racks, this, that, custom tray in the back. It's 200 grand, that car. Then they're driving that to a plumbing work site, which a $40,000 or $50,000 car would have done perfectly fine. But now they've got a car that's 4 times that value. Now they've got to recoup that cost. That's simply going to an accountant trying to figure out what's best for them. Would have done this, but now they're trying to mix their world of personal and private and everything else into one, and they're trying to all claim it as sort of business expenses. I think that's my overall challenge with everything. It's whereas what is real sort of business expense versus what's your personal expense, and then sort of normalize stuff, right? But what happens is when you're charging now, like I say, a normal rate should be $30 an hour. I'm charging you now 230. So I'm not covering just my insurance. I'm not just covering my wage. There's fat in there, right? And that fat could be some lost time. Could be anything else. Your own sick leave, whatever it is. If you work out all those ratios, the number still doesn't make sense. It may jump up to $80, really, if it's a lot of serious stuff. But there's a lot of stuff that we're unaware of, and it could be just due to poor costings, poor inventory management. They could have bought the wrong thing and they just loaded up on stuff. I think they should have done some accounting training or partnered with an accountant. That's my overall view of that, right? So, but supply and demand, if I go back to it, in Australia, I haven't ever seen in my life where a trade prices go down with stuff. So that means supply demand, in essence, is BS, right? Now let me explain, right? So brickies before COVID were charging 50 cents a brick. During COVID, when they figured out there weren't that many brickies, they started charging $2 a brick. Now the brick is still here in Australia, right? The material didn't effing change, did it? It's still a brick. The labourer, still a labourer, putting the brick on a wall. How does his rate go from 50 cents to $2? Because now that means the house cost significantly increases, right? That's a $1.50 increase. $1.50 over your $2 freaking margin, it's a lot of money. That's the increase. When your percentage increase, now how many bricks go in a house? A lot. Right? So these are like unforeseeable costs. Now what happened now is, I want to build a house in 2024. I'm not going to build a house, but if I do want to consider, I have to now pay a minimum $2 a brick. Doesn't matter if there's more brickies that came in, because now the new brickies are like, well, your rate's $2. I'm going to charge $2 more. And that's just increasing the minimum charge. Then they come back and say, oh, look, got plenty of brickies now, let's just readjust our rates. They just come back and go, the company can pay us more and someone else will just fork out the rates.
Can I challenge you on that then?
No. This pod.
No, because now
subscribe, like.
because now we're talking supply and demand. Okay, fine.
Go.
If you have the other brickies coming to the market, they still charge $2. Why is that? Because there's still not enough supply in the market. Say another 100 brickies come in, all of a sudden it's like, people can't get jobs, and like, you know what, I'll actually give you $1 if I get this job. Then the price starts coming down. So it is 100% supply and demand. That's what it is. There's not enough supply out there.
You know what happens?
If there was enough supply, then the market would say, you know what, you'll charge $2, but this guy he wants a job, we'll charge $1. I'm going to this guy for the $1 guy.
No.
That's what it is.
It's not.
It's basic.
No, it's not. Because you know what happens. So you come back and go, oh, I'm going to drop my rate.
Yeah.
Right. So let's use that example. I'll go, I charge $2. You come in the New Zealand market, you charge $1. If it was a discount, you'd be like, man, that guy, he does really shoddy work, right? Don't go to him. He's too cheap. Only cheap people do really shoddy work, right? So I can discount you, right? Simple.
There's a market for cheap, man.
But what the main problem is, real tradies, they don't stick around trying to. They understand the game, right? In my view, right? And you guys correct me. Real tradies will come back and be like, this market's screwed. I'm gonna go do another trade. So they'll go pick up another gig. Right? They may pivot their career multiple times.
Supply and demand.
But then it'll adjust your bricky market.
Yes,
Because everything
the market has stayed the same, mate. So it's.
Yeah, but that's supply and demand. You're jumping around based on where your supply and demand, where works best for you.
You change your career. That's what.
Exactly.
Here's where I think it's stayed the same though.
Okay.
There's a couple of reasons. So we've had a lack. Our immigration focus has been on white collar largely, which is why all your white collar jobs have been the ones that have fluctuated. You're seeing, most of your salaries in accounting haven't really risen, have they, in the last couple of years? I wouldn't say they have. That's because there's heaps of them. But I've got a couple of points here, and then we'll continue the discussion on why there's an oversupply. So in the 70s and 80s, there was a massive educational reform, billing TAFE as kind of the poor cousin of the educational system. They made university, and you know, large parts of it were the right thing to do. They made university this sexy thing to be a part of, and they kind of lowered the entry level points to get into uni. They made uni free for a while, so that's the first thing. They kind of made TAFE look less sexy. And it's only over the last 20 to 25 years they've started to try and bring back a focus on the importance of TAFE. So a lot of your trades and stuff sit in that TAFE system, which are state run. The second thing is immigration. Now, universities and governments are incentivized, universities are incentivized to push international students into their systems because all of their fees from international students aren't taxed. I didn't know that. Apparently that's true. They're talking about building a levy off the top of that. Most of your university courses are the ones that affect your white collar jobs. A lot of people who run top university bodies run government policy. Government policy dictates what immigration and what people come into this country.
Yeah.
There's been a general lack of focus from government to push into the trades because it's a tough view now, because if they start bringing it in, Australians will cry out and say, oh, these are the life and blood of our country. How can you start undercutting them? But then secondary, you have all these universities thinking, oh, you're taking people and international students away from us because now they're coming in and going into this quasi-TAFE system. So there's this tension that they need to somehow break to bring people, skilled labourers, skilled workers into this country to address this undersupply in the trades, is my view.
Yeah, so absolutely. I think like in the UK, that was a prime example of how labour was coming in for relatively cheap, and it wouldn't increase the value over time. You'd have your regular CPI increases, but it's a pretty competitive market, right? So your supply demand thing works in those countries, I think, where you've got access to various markets, but it actually does fluctuate significantly. And I think in Australia here, you sort of, the new minimum just gets set as much as supply demand, and then what happens is we just increment further from there. But the challenge is certain trades keep increasing, but if you've worked for an organisation as a, let's say, plumber in this case, it's not like your salary would have increased by, if I've started charging 50 cents a brick and then I've upped it to $2, that doesn't get passed on to the worker, that gets passed to the company, and I may have seen a 5% increase in my salary, right? So the ones who are actually making the coin are not the ones we expect in this case.
Yeah, and this is the point where you're saying, because they say the cost of being a brick, say to run a bricky company is 50 cents a brick, now it's only $2. The $1.50 is pretty much profit, right? So that's the fat they got to play with. But that's
50 cents.
Oh, the $1.50, sorry, is like the
50
fat.
cents before included the fat. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's the thing. But my point is, like, they charge $2. People are paying because they need the job to be done.
Yeah, but
so the demand is there at $2.
The demand, mate. What I'm trying to tell you, isn't it? Even if they charge $5 a brick,
exactly, that's right.
That's what I'm saying. That's wrong. Why hold certain things
to account? But then what you asked was government intervention to cap the price.
I'm not saying that.
It has to be some intervention then.
What I'm trying to say is, with those price increases I just told you, do they look reasonable to you?
It's not reasonable, but that's what they charge and someone pays for it.
So
Who's
so yeah, hold on. So supply demand, right? You're working through a logic of basically look. I'm in demand labour. I'm just going to keep upping my rate until someone stops.
100%.
That's it.
You would,
right?
and that's how it works.
That's a stupid mentality in my view.
When it's stupid, that's what it is. That's why demand works.
What usually happens is, right? No, I'm saying it's a flaw in the model, right?
There's not enough supply.
That's not the flaw. The flaw is usually if you're really good at what you do, you're busy, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not good at what you do, you're not busy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's another argument.
Right. No. So if you're a good tradie, you're going to be always busy.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a shit tradie, you're never going to have any work, right? Because people want to keep coming back to you. You charge a reasonable rate, blah blah blah. Now, just because there's a shortage, right? Whether or not that's real or fake, I don't know, because I'm not in a tradie role. But what I do know is going, if you just one day went, actually I'm getting really busy, I'm going to up my rate by 200% and just wait. People still going to need you, mate.
That's right.
what happens is you end up squeezing down that line.
I fix a house because they come back and go, you look, mate, that brickie might charge 50 cents a
Yeah,
brick. I'm
okay,
going to
yeah.
cost the whole house.
Of course.
And the next day the brickie comes back and goes, mate, my rate is now $2 a brick.
And not just him. Every brick is going $2.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say is one creates a what do you call it, like a sort of a ceiling,
Yep.
right? Tries it with one. What's he going to do? He's going to WhatsApp his buddies and be like, mate, my rate's $2 now. Everyone just up your rates.
You can, yeah.
ACCC, whatever that is, doesn't exist over there. Everyone's going to...
I don't think it's ACCC. There's no collusion, I think.
Mate, this is going to be 100% collusion and that stuff.
Mate, there's like so many brickers out there. You reckon each one's talking and be like,
Yeah, 100%.
oh, I'm increasing my rate. Oh, let's all do it.
They're
No,
all going to do it.
because
You're not going to be like, oh, mate...
because you know why? They say like there's 100 brickers out there. Okay, fine. They all increase the rate. Except one guy's like, then one guy's not getting work. Because you know what? I need to work because no one's hiring me because I'm pretty crap. I've dropped down to $1. So I'm going to be like, oh, he's $1. I'll take the risk.
They'll end up just working for someone who's busy. And then working for 25 cents a brick or whatever it is, right? That's how these guys work.
Exactly, but that's how market forces work. Then all of a sudden, then the price starts coming down. If you've got enough supply in there,
So
people are going to go for the cheap person because that's all they can afford as well. So then there was a disadvantage for them as well because they're not as good quality as that top guy. Guess what? They're going to hire them.
How is quality dictated by price though?
Because like you said, if you're good, you're going to be busy.
Busy.
Exactly.
So what are our 2 points of view? I think you both agree you're not happy that prices increase. The prices are increasing at the moment with the trades. Is that clear?
Yeah, of course I'm not happy with it. Yeah, it's very expensive.
Okay,
right
cool.
now.
It's supply and demand.
You're saying
that's right.
you're
Supply-
saying it's supply and demand driven,
100%, yeah.
and your point is
That's
overpricing and opportune, kind of like the toilet paper scenario during COVID.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Wow. But the toilet paper scenario was also supply and demand.
They didn't up their prices by double the next day just because there was a shortage in toilet paper, right? They didn't come back and say, well, actually, a roll now of, I want to say Kleenex or Quilton, he sells for $10. Oh, mate, there's a shortage. Now it's 20. They didn't do that. They just went, until we get more stock in.
Some shops did, and they people
Mate,
still paid it.
but not the real ones, right? Like not the proper ones. No. Like I said, yeah, of course, your little mum and dad shops can do whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
They can buy a pack of Buja and be like,
But it's the same
$25
situation,
today for you now, and now like hand sanitizer, bro. That went through the roof.
Yeah,
COVID
exactly.
tests.
There you go. Exactly.
They were the dumbest things that went up, like right, and they came straight back into the market.
But people still pay for it, didn't they?
They got forced into it.
No one's forcing anyone to do anything.
Are you kidding? During COVID, when you needed to test yourself, and the only place that was open was a Priceline that only had these test kits, you're forced to pay whatever.
Because guess what? 'Cause there's not enough supply.
There was heaps of supply,
And
bro.
he-
There was
and
like
was it his supply?
yeah, there was millions.
Where was it then?
People are holding it back.
But you just said that what? Yeah, then that's a different issue then.
It's not a different. It's the same issue, bro.
'Cause
How
then-
is you got okay? I order 1 million kits. I'm going to release 10,000, and you're going to be like, "That's supply and demand, bro." They had them in the factories. All those kits. Are you kidding? How they magically get them the next day? Be like, how do you keep replenishing stores when there's no kits? There's kits everywhere, bro.
So Ash, do you agree though there's not enough tradespeople? Like to take the supply demand argument out of the way, do you think there's enough and they're
in Australia,
in Australia? Yeah.
I think there are enough trades.
you think there's enough people here?
Yeah, I think there could be more, but I think there's enough in the
Enough
current.
to service the whole
Yeah.
country.
I don't think so.
Okay. Do you think then maybe are they?
Bro, have you go down to the road wherever they're working on? There's 15 people standing, looking, supervising the one guy that's digging. Those 15 people, you need one supervisor, and the other 14 can be doing something. Right? It's such a useless productive market here. It's not even funny anymore.
Yeah, it could be. You could be right, but then
But like everyone needs to go. You go. Everybody needs an accountant. All that whole oversupply. Go. You have a personal accountant. Buy you the whole way.
That was my next question. Do you think you're just wrongly allocated?
Yeah, it's a poor resource allocation in Australia.
And who determines that? Do you like business owners, or is that a economy thing? Is that government? I don't know.
It's a combination of everything. I think.
Okay.
I think it's stemming from safety and compliance, which is absolutely valid. But then I think it's escalated from there, and then basically you just got like a lot of guys can't tell me like when you're looking at like a roads work and you're seeing people just stand around and you're like, what are you paid to do?
Yeah,
but
but
that's part of a bigger project.
no, but that's different. Now you're talking about government funding versus like
I'm
a
not
private.
talking about government, man. I'm talking
What,
about
like a
actually
roadworks.
I'm just talking about a project in general. You go down here, do you see one scaffolder? You see like 4 people outside just...
Yeah, but then there's someone paying for that, aren't they? They're still paying for that.
Yeah, you're paying as a user for that
Exactly.
house.
Exactly. So you see,
Yeah.
so even though they're charging that much,
That
guess
comes
what?
back to like your safety laws say that you have to have like
Yeah,
a
that's right. Yeah.
traffic control person
Yeah, so
if you're doing certain pieces of work.
yeah, so where it's legislation and you need it, I'm fine with it. I'm saying there's all these additional bits that you probably didn't need. That either it's just poor resource allocation or you're getting the wrong person for the job. That's my absolute view of it.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess it's one of those, I don't know, like it's also a tough sweat on your brow type of job, right? And a lot of, like, I know some really good tradesmen that are mates that actually do not only work your 5 days a week, but also then put in the extra yards on their weekends and do cashies and stuff, not just to, become millionaires, but a lot of it is putting that safety and security in your pockets, knowing that there's going to be a day when your back gives up or, so I guess that's potentially, do you think it's part of this thinking is everyone's saving up for this rainy day that could come in the trades where, they're not as lucky as us where if something happens, we can still kind of waddle into work?
some of it, but like once again, like a young, I don't want to discount finance and business knowledge for these tradies. They could be really good. I personally think, like if they're trying to think of their nest egg, there's probably real problems they're trying to solve then and there, right? Like if you're trying to work weekends, you're trying to do that, you're sacrificing your own time right now, with family, with friends. You're trying to fix something for yourself. You might want to buy a new car, fix a house, or do whatever, right? You're trying to stop. You're not going to be like, just in case my back goes, wish I had, a couple $100,000 just sitting in the bank. I don't think a lot of people are thinking that way, just in this current economy. I don't think I see people like that at all.
All right, Ash. Let me put a scenario. And tell me what you think. Say your job, for argument's sake, is a 100K job. Okay. Yeah. That's like your 50 cent brick sort of thing. Your skill set becomes high demand. All of a sudden, it's like you can charge $500,000. Are you going to charge? So you're going to come in and be like, no, I'll still charge $100,000 because that's the right thing, or are you going to go give me $500,000?
What I'm saying is companies...
Yeah, but what would you do in that scenario? Would you go and get the $500,000?
Yeah, of course I would.
So why wouldn't Bricky do that?
No, I'm not discounting that, bro. I'm discounting why now, because so let's say I go for the $500,000 job, right? What that means is someone's going to get squeezed down the track for what I'm going to do now.
But that's right. But
you can pay everyone $1 million.
But wouldn't you take it? You still take $500,000, right?
What I'm saying, there's an artificial demand here because because my role's increased.
Okay, but how do you fix that? All of a sudden, you get 10 of you guys, like exact same skill level, be like, okay, now there's actually competition for 10 years. You know what? Maybe I'll only give it $200,000, and then you're gonna be like, everyone's gonna fight and be like, okay, give me $150, I'll do the job. All of a sudden, the market comes down again.
It doesn't.
And
work.
that's supply and demand.
I think
bro, this is not Parkley markets, bro. You just can't be like, oh, $1, $1. Oh, you're cheapest. Come here, man. Like it doesn't work. The market's regulated like this, bro.
How's it regulated?
Okay, you tell me when you can get a brickie. Come 50 cents a brick, where would you go? Facebook Marketplace? Be like, brother, can you install a house for me, 50 cents a brick? Or are you going to do it for $1? Oh, I'm going to go for the cheap. That you got to go to proper people, and all they're going to do is they're all going to charge the same. Why is it the average cost of building today? Right, you go to all the display homes, right, excluding demo, whatever. You can't find anything less than $500,000, right? Double story house. Back in 10 years ago. House and land.
Yeah, I know house price gone up.
But no, it's a land price that went up, bro.
Yeah.
Land.
Even construction went up as well, big time.
Yeah, but construction materials went up because everyone's like, oh, there's a shortage of this, there's a shortage of that, right? I understand there's a shortage. But if there's a shortage, what usually should happen is you come back and say, there's a shortage of timber. Whenever the next batch of timber gets in, you can get it next, right? This is what I'm trying to explain to you. So let's say I've run out of timber for my house. Right. Okay, brother. Next batch is coming in. Next month, you get the next allocation. Right. That would have meant.
So you reckon that's cheaper doing that way?
Yeah, but what happens right now is your method comes and go like, I got a batch of timber coming in. Oh, I'll give you $100. Man, I'll give you 200. I'll give you 300. I'll give you 500. 500. Next batch comes in. 500. Who wants it now? It doesn't start back at the original price, bro. It starts back at the high end of the rate.
So it starts fast 500, but then if no one wants to buy 500, guess what? It comes down again, doesn't it?
There's always a demand for that.
Exactly.
But do you understand?
That's my point.
But you've created the ceiling. You've created the ceiling. That's what I'm saying. The ceiling always gets pushed up.
Yeah. To your point, there is some sort of Then so you're saying the best way to fix it is some sort of intervention by someone, whether the government or some sort of regulator.
I would not trust the government to come up with an approach about money.
But then who's going to fix your problem then.
I think before we, I want to see what you guys have in mind to fix it, but we'll leave it to our viewers. If you guys think supply versus demand is the reason tradespeople get paid a lot, which is rightly so, then comment on there. And if you think, like Ash said, they're just, for lack of a better word, using the toilet paper analogy and utilizing the challenges of the market and monetizing on it, put a comment on there as well. But what would you guys do to fix it? Let's talk about solutions here, because we're all about solutions on the Banjo Pod. If you were here sitting in Albo's chair, what would you do to fix it?
I'd have a heavy look at how people are pricing originally versus pricing like a year from now without justifying any significant investment in something to justify that increase, right? So if I was charging 50 cents a brick and then I went and created a whole brand new brick and invented something and actually my overheads have gone up. I've invented something and I'm employing people, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's a valid increase, right? You need to justify your increases. You can't just come back and say supply and demand. I think that's invalid now, right? And I don't think if you do supply and demand, if you ever do pull that card, your pricing that you originally had needs to come back into play, and then that needs to be marketed going, this is my cap and ceiling so far. And those things may change, but you may come back and say, actually, our price ranges from 50 cents a brick, depending on season, all the way to $2.50 a brick. Depending if you caught me on a summer and it's a Sunday and I'm going to be missing the cricket, it's $2.50 a brick. But that's transparency. Because then we understand where they're bricking, but right now it's unlimited. That ceiling is unlimited to whatever they think, and then that creates a new minimum. So I think that needs to be somehow either displayed on a website. It needs to be shown somewhere that we can actually see going, are these rates? We may not understand what fair looks like, but at least we've got some sort of breakdown between what those supply and demand rates are. So we may not come back and say, you know what, I'm not going to build in summer on a Sunday. I may build on a winter when there's minimal work. And that would then enable way more people to spend more money on trades, I reckon.
So there is some government intervention then?
Not government, bro. ChatGPT, someone else, some AI. I know, but it's a market for it to understand what your rates are, right? So it's a bit like Fiverr or Airbnb, like you set your rates there, but at least we understand what the rates are, right? But I don't really want to get the government involved because they'll just take a cut out of something for whatever reason. If they go making 50 cents a brick, they're like, oh, we'll take 100% of that.
Yeah, but you're trying to say like now, apart from those essential, services like water, trains, all that kind of things, whereas like the government sort of has that like, iPad sort of what regulates the price increases. That's sort of what you're sort of trying to say. Like, okay, you because you want your energy, like you want to do a price increase, show me why you increase the price. So you want that across all the industries.
I like that with energy.
Which rightly so, it should be there. But you're trying to say put that in like all markets.
I think we're markets where we know there's going to be forever demand in there. It's not like a machine's going to ever stop a rebar guy, right? Concreter. Like, I know that for a fact, right? But not anytime soon, right? We're talking the next 15 years. Those jobs aren't going to be replaced with 3D printers. We're still going to need manual labor. So the demand's always going to be there, I think, for that. Skilled labor, unskilled labor, always going to need demand for that. There's roles in this economy. And I'm not saying accountants should get paid lots, but if it's reasonable in price, you'll have people actively trying to do stuff with labor. In the UK, you'd actively go and you wouldn't be going, buying a spanner from the Bunnings equivalent, like you'd just go call the plumber in, get it fixed. Over here, think twice. Honestly, I'd be like, how much is a crowbar and an axe and a bloody whatever? It's cheaper than paying a call-out fee. You know what I mean? So I may as well just give it a crack.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Hubert, what would you do to fix it?
Yeah, so my solution would clearly is just to increase supply of the trades out there. So then one way to do is encourage kids to take on the trades, do your apprentices, get them to TAFE. And once you get a quality workforce in the trade industry, guess what? Now we got more supply for the labor out there. Then there is a competition, in the capitalism market, you got a competition for that work, and the price will become more reasonable for the people who need that service. So I think that's the way your solution is to, increase the supply of quality trade out there. That's it.
Great, valid conversation, lads. I think my final call out is I think in a lot of those videos, it's glamorized as those plumbers and sparkies and stuff are the ones servicing residential that earn that money. I find it hard to believe that's the rate they would earn, I feel like it'll be commercial, and that's where a lot of these tradespeople start to get their big money. It's because they're in commercial gigs. They're in that environment where you continue to get continuous work because they're in contracts signed with larger companies. So all love to tradespeople is basically what we're trying to say. And like we always say, where a lot of these conversations stem from us thinking about how we'll help our kids think through things like careers, and stuff like this will be prevalent when our kids hit that high school and university age, and we'll probably be having similar conversations that we've thought about, and we'll refer them to this episode in the Banjo Pod. Now, lads, when you're at a bar and you approach the bar and there's a person already there, and the bartender comes in, says, "What would you like, mate?" What would you do?
Oh, if I knew the person was there before me, I'd tell him he was here first.
That's the chivalrous thing to do, right? It's very similar to YouTube chivalry, because in YouTube chivalry, you like, comment, and subscribe on this video, because just like letting the person go through at the bar because they were there before you, you're here, you're liking, you're commenting, and you're subscribing because it's chivalrous and it's the right thing to do.
Correct.
Thank you for listening. Great conversation, guys. If you've got thoughts on this episode, and if you've got thoughts on the trades in general, chuck your comments down below. And see you next time on the Banjo Pod.